we are going to learn a circle command. On the draw panel, you can see there's a circle command. I can click on that and then I can start drawing circle. Circle command is pretty simple. You just gotta click, move your cursor away, and then you can start drawing a circle. I'm going to click again and that will draw a circle for me. I'm going to use erase command by pressing E, spacebar, and just press spacebar to execute the command. I'm going to start a circle, and now pay attention here. So we have an option circle point for 3p, 2p, tr, tan, radius. So I'm going to start a circle command, and now you can see we are being asked that specify the radius of a circle. You can specify the radius. So for example, if I would say 5 feet, so 5 and single quote for feet, enter, and then you'll have a circle drawn. I'm gonna press Z for the zoom command, and I'm gonna say extend, enter, and you can see we have a circle. Now also I'm going to delete this one and start a circle command by pressing C, I, enter, and then we have a circle command. So the shortcut key for specifying a circle command is CI in AutoCAD. I'm gonna start the circle. Now instead of specifying a radius, what if I want to specify the diameter? So if you pay attention to command line, here it says diameter. So I can press D and enter. So let's just say D, press enter, and now you notice that it is asking for a diameter. There you go. So you gotta specify diameter of a circle. So you gotta understand what is the difference between radius and circle. That's basically out of the scope of this. We're learning AutoCAD, not the radius versus diameter. So for the diameter, I'll just say 5 feet. Return, and there you go. You got the circle with the diameter created. For just to make it more visual, I'm gonna go back to these 3 dots and turn the dynamic inputting on, and let's just uncheck that again. So now we can see the tooltip right next to our cursor, which will make it easier for us to read what we being asked for. Now this is a circle command, but if you look at the arrow here, I'm going to click on that and this will give me a drop down. So we have an option to draw a circle radius, circle diameter, 2 point, 3 point, and then we have this tangent, tangent, radius, and tangent, tangent, tangent. Okay, so let's try learning these 3 commands. So for example, I am going to draw 2 lines. So let's just draw 2 lines. Okay, now what if we want to start a circle? So let's just select the circle command first. So center radius. So as you can see, if you hover over your cursor longer than like a couple of seconds onto the command, it basically will give you a tip how to use it. So it creates a circle using a center point and a radius. So for the center point, I'm going to select, and for the center point, I'm going to just click here. Now another thing that you notice here, what if I want to actually select the end point of this line? Right now, I'm not able to do that unless I specify the exact coordinates for that endpoint, or I can turn on something called snapping. So here we got this snap cursor to 2D reference point. I'm going to just turn it on. Now you will notice it basically trying to snap to the end of this line. So we learned another thing here, guys. So this is object snapping. We'll have a separate video for this, but for now just say click, and then I can just move my cursor away from the starting point and specify the width or height. So I'll just say 5 feet, enter, and then there you go, we got the circle. Now guess what? Basically this center radius is the same command as this one, and center diameter is the one that you triggered by pressing D. So let's press E, and I'm going to get rid of this circle and this circle. Let's zoom into these lines. Now I'm going to select the diameter. Now basically you can just turn trigger on the circle command, and then you can specify these options by using your keyboard. So if I do a circle command by pressing CI, enter, now I can turn on 3p, 2p, TR, or I can specify the diameter by just starting the point and say, hey, I want to use the diameter. So in old age of AutoCAD, there used to be just the command line which used to give us these options, but now in the latest versions of AutoCAD you have a direct access to start these. So for example, now let's just say we have two lines here, right? I want to draw a circle from this point to this point. That will be very helpful if I could use 2p. So I'll select 2p. First point is this one, and then second point is this one. So there you go. So we draw an exact circle between these two endpoints. So sometimes you might want to specify a third point as well. So I'll draw another line, for example, this line here on the top, and I want to start circle from here to this particular area, and then select the midpoint of this line and then finish that with this. So I can use 3p circle. So I'm going to click on this arrow, 3p circle, start with this, and then I'm going to select this midpoint. So you see that little arrow that's like snapping in the midpoint of the line. Click, and then I'm going to click there as well. So there you go, we got a circle with the 3 point. Now obviously we can start this circle by using just the command line and the circle command. So I press CI, and then I'm going to say 3p, enter. Now we have a 3p circle. So now it says specify the first one on the circle. So I'll specify this point, and then second point I'll specify, let's just say this one, and then I go specify the third point, something here. Okay, so that's a 3-point circle. Now again, we have this tangent, so I'm going to just get rid of everything here, and I'm going to start a line, and I'm going to start a line on 90-degree angle. I'm going to try creating a rectangle. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to create the same length height. So what I'll do is I'll hover over my cursor here, and then it will give me the reference for that. There you go. And that's the reference exactly we got. Okay, I'm going to press, actually delete this bit. Okay, so we got not exactly what we were expecting, but here it's like a rectangle. But now I'm going to select the 3-point circle. So I'll start from here, start here, and then midpoint here. So if we had a proper rectangle with actual width and height, with the same width and height, then it would have been come in the center. Maybe we can try that. So I'm going to delete this bit, and maybe we can use a circle within the rectangle. So there is a rectangle command as well. So I will just select that, and then I will create a rectangle. I'll start from here, and then I will give 5 feet, comma 5 feet, exactly 5 feet rectangle. Now if I go and select the 3-point circle, I'll select this one, this point, and this one. Because we had the same width and height, or width and length for the rectangle, now it's exactly, you know, touching the line in the middle of the rectangle. So that's how you can use 3-point circle. We have a tangent one, so I'll just try that one as well. Go here, and then I'm gonna start from like this here, and then there you go, and then you got the tangent one. Now I know you might be thinking, hey, I know how to use the circle, just very simple, it's just, you know, select the command and click click click, it will draw that. Well, that's true, but when we actually start working on a project, we're going to be using these different types of circles in terms of what our use case is. So here it's giving you some suggestion as well. What is the use case for 3-point circle, like, you know, you can see on the screen. And this one, tangent radius, they will give you another, like, you know, how you can draw a circle. Now the use case for this will be a lot, but we can do that in the project. So that's our circle. Now I'm gonna delete this rectangle and quickly show you some of the option of the rectangle as well. So I'll click on this rectangle command, and I'm gonna start from here. Now once I click, you will notice the options on the command line change. So we got rectangle, specify other corners. Now we have some other options like area, dimension, or rotation. First of all, let's just do 4 feet, 4 feet. Enter. We got the rectangle properly. I will select this rectangle and then take a look at the properties. So I'm going to say properties, and I'm going to click on that, and that will give me this kind of window there. Okay, and if I select an object, that will give me the properties, and you can see the type of the lines that we created. That's a polyline, which is this one, which we're gonna learn that's quite a lot. And then we got some, vertex X and vertex Y, and then layer properties as well. So properties are really good. We'll have a proper separate section for this as well to understand what the property do. I'm gonna just get rid of them. Now let's try drawing a rectangle with some different commands. So let's click on the rectangle, and instead of just drawing a rectangle, I would like to use some of these options like chamfer, elevation, fillet, thickness, and a width. So we'll start with the chamfer. What chamfer is basically, it's just gonna, on the corners of the rectangle, it's gonna just make a chamfer there. So press C, enter, and now it's asking me specify the first chamfer distance. So I'll just do, let's just say 6 inch, and then the 6 inch as well. Now because the chamfer has been applied, I'm gonna draw a circle, or not circle but rectangle. Now you notice what's happening here on the corners. This is actually chamfering your rectangle. So I'll just click, and there you go. So that's the rectangle. Now this straight line here, that's like a chamfer. Now we have a separate chamfer command which we'll learn in a modify section, but for now, if you want to specify a chamfer, you can do that by using a chamfer command. Now that's a chamfer, and we're gonna start the rectangle command by typing on the keyboard REC, start. And now if you take a look at the chamfer option, so if I press C chamfer, you see that 6 inches already there. So what we need to do is to be able to draw the rectangle with the corners, you have to reset that by specifying 0 and 0 for our chamfer. So now if I draw a rectangle, you will see it will have the corners properly, not the chamfered one. So that's the chamfer. Now if I go and start the rectangle command again, and I'm going to specify fillet. So I'll press F, enter, and similarly I'll do something like 2 feet, 2 feet for fillet. And now when I start that rectangle command, you'll see it's rounding our corners. So that's a fillet in AutoCAD. Let's start a rectangle command again, and I'm gonna choose T for thickness, and you can say thickness would be, let's just say 6 inch, 6 inch. And now when I do a rectangle, now it's not actually showing you a thickness, but thickness is there because we haven't turned on some sort of like a GUI part of this thickness. We won't see that here, but we'll get to this once we get to the 3D part of that. So I'm gonna just delete this one. Now to be able to draw a rectangle with the 0 thickness, you have to specify, go into thickness option, and then reset it by specifying 0 and 0. Okay, now we are going to jump on to the next thing, which is a width. Width is simple. You just gotta specify, let's just do one more time, and we'll say W, enter, and then you have to specify the width of the line, which we say 5 feet, and then 5 feet, 5 feet, and there you go. So right now you can see that rectangle is like there, but it's like the line is too thick actually. That's why it's not able to show you what is it. So let me just go and get rid of this rectangle, and let's just draw again. I'm gonna zoom out, and then I'm gonna draw this. Okay, so there you go. Now you can see the fillet is there, the fillet is getting applied, but also that the width of the line is getting applied as well. Now, until you go and reset everything, you will see rectangle being applied like that. So we'll do rectangle command, and I'm gonna go to, first of all, width. And then do 0. Okay. Then use a rectangle again. Let's just do fillet. I'm gonna do 0 fillet, and that's it. So now if I do a rectangle command, you'll see we have a proper line without fillet and without the width. Also, if you notice now, we have some options like area, dimension, and rotation. So if you want to specify dimension for a rectangle, you can do that by specifying like D, enter, and now it will ask you the dimension. So we can start from the length, which I'll say 3 feet, and then for width we can say 4 width, enter, and there you go, we got the rectangle with the proper width. But it hasn't been created because we need to click. It's saying, hey, this was your origin where you started the rectangle, but what if you want to create on this side or this side or this side or this side? So you have to click particularly to be able to create that rectangle. Now this is the rectangle command. You can try out a rotation and specifying an area as well. Very simple stuff. Next video we'll look at some of the other commands in a draw panel.